Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw Countout. This is, of course, the edition of Going In Raw every Saturday where we count down 10 things in the world of wrestling. Yes?
Not every Saturday.
Oh, yeah, some Saturdays we do Going In Raw View.
Yeah.
This week we're doing Going In Raw Countout.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Larson, the Royal Rumble is upon us. It's Saturday. TakeOver is tonight. We're going to be filming our live reactions to that. And then, of course, the Rumble tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're doing a live stream reaction to that as well.
There's going to be a lot of live reacting, streaming of things to things.
That kind of stuff. You get to watch that stuff.
Yeah.
So that should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys join us for that. It's right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. But, you know, like I said, it's Rumble time, so it makes sense that we take a look at Rumbles or people in the Rumbles. Last year, of course, Shinsuke Nakamura won the Royal Rumble, much to the delight of many, many people.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty huge accolade.
It is.
He went on to have a decent feud with AJ Styles. He didn't quite capture that title, but he did turn heel, and we got some fun stuff out of that particular feud.
A lot of shots to the front area.
Lots of low blows. However, the preceding 10
Let's
years
go back to
or so,
1989, basically, when the
way back.
Rumble started as his own pay-per-view, essentially.
Yeah.
It's kind of hit or miss in terms of the actual winners.
Some winners have been fairly inspired. For example,
Stone Cold 97, 98.
Stone Cold 1997, 1998. That's
Although
perfect.
he really did win in 97. But
That year, but the year Batista won when they did both went over him and John Cena.
Vince tore his quads.
That was a weird situation.
Yeah.
But if you take a look, especially the aftermath.
Yeah.
Batista had that great. Will he choose his friend Triple H? Will he choose JBL's title? And then we got the infamous thumbs down.
Yeah, it was a great scene.
It was a great scene. It was a really, really good build. Batista was really over. So there have been plenty of inspired moments, but there's also been plenty of moments not so inspired, or we kind of feel maybe they could have gone a different way. We've identified 10 of them, some with a stronger case to be made than the others.
Yeah.
But we had to find 10 of them. There's only been, 1989, 20, 30? What? 30?
Yeah, about 30.
30 some odd?
Yeah, if you include the one in 88, which is just a USA
This would be
Network
31,
special.
right?
It's 31, yeah.
Okay,
It's
cool.
31st edition.
Right on.
Of the Royal Rumble.
Awesome. I went back and looked at some of the finishes of some of these just to see, okay, was the crowd into it? That first one, people were hot for Jim Duggan.
Oh, yeah, man.
People were hot for him.
It was over.
Even in the second one, the first pay-per-view one, 1989, Big John Studd, he was over as well. People were really into it. Can't complain about that, right? Can't complain about that.
No.
Anyways, let's kick this off, Larson, right now. Number 10.
10.
Well, in 2000, the Big Show won.
No, he didn't win. The
Oh,
Rock won.
yeah. This is the top 10 superstars who should have won the Rumble but didn't.
Number 10
in 2000 should have been the Big Show. It was The Rock who won.
Yes.
And of course, afterwards, WrestleMania 2000, one that you attended.
Yeah, I was there at my first WrestleMania. Ended up being a four-corner match. It was Triple H, Rock, Big Show, and Mankind. McMahon in each corner. I mean, Triple H walked in as champ, left as champ. So the winner of the Rumble really had no bearing on the outcome of that match, really. So why not just give the Big Show that accolade? He was relatively new to WWE. I think he showed up the February of '99. It's really been around, well, I guess almost a year. At first he was there to help out Vince. He was aligned with Shane, I believe, at this point. Just give him the win. The Rock was, I know, like the hottest thing in wrestling then.
It's odd.
Him getting eliminated, especially when it's like bang, bang. Like pretty much both people were eliminated at the same time, just someone's feet hit first. Give the Big Show that win.
So let's take a look at that WrestleMania. Why do you suppose? I always was kind of bummed out that we didn't get a straight up Rock versus Triple H main event. It's kind of surprising to me. I think they were both big stars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what the hesitation would have been.
They probably just wanted the McMahon family involvement.
That I like. You're probably right. The idea of how many McMahons can we get out there? 4. Well, let's get them all. There's a superstar for each one.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's terrible. Because I think that could have been a great main event. We'd seen Rock and Triple H. Obviously, they had a great rivalry over the Intercontinental Championship. et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's weird they did that it just wasn't a one-on-one match between the two of them.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Both big stars.
Yeah.
However,
In which case it would have made more sense for The Rock to win the Rumble, but since it ended up being a 4-corner match anyways,
yeah,
just have the Big Show win.
well, there's an afterword to this. There's a little addendum to this, in that in 2016, The Rock returned to WWE to do, I don't know if it was the Build to Mania, or I don't know what the deal was. Every once in a while he'll come baback.
He had that one. Is that one thing where the camera just following him as he's going backstage at Raw? Right?
He shows up backstage, and he was acting very hyper, as if he had just done a lot of coffee. Mm-hmm. And I think he goes up to Lana and sort of makes the insinuation that they had done sex before, something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's a super hyper. At one point, he goes up to the Big Show, and he's like, "Hey, Big Show, buddy, good to see you. Good to see you." He was like, "Hey, you know what I was thinking about the other day? Remember back in 2000, the Royal Rumble, where both of us took a tumble over the top rope, and they declared me the winner, even though clearly, our feet sort of touched at the same time." He said, "I went back, I watched it again. I really kind of think that you should have won that Rumble. It seemed obvious that your feet touched first.
No, last.
I'm sorry, last. Touched the ground last. And you know what I found out?" He said, "I went on to Hollywood, big fame, and I found out that the producer of the Scorpion King was watching that Rumble, and he saw it, and he said, whoever wins out of these two is going to be the Scorpion King. And he said, if you just won, imagine how better your life could have been. It's crazy how life works like that sometime." And then Big Show, he's holding a laptop, and he destroys it.
Yeah.
And Big Show's like, "Whoa, look what you just did!" It was a really weird out of character moment for The Rock.
Yeah.
It was just sort of it was cartoony.
Yeah.
But it was kind of comical, and it was a throwback to 2000. So basically, The Rock said Big Show should have won it. Who are we to disagree
with the great one?
The great one, the most electrifying man in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Exactly. Kind of a flimsy reason right there, but whatever. We're at number 10. Number 9. Brock Lesnar.
So, of course, lead up to this is when title would be vacated because Seth got hurt. Survivor Series, Roman wins the belt, but he's immediately cashed in on by Sheamus. Fast forward a couple months to late 2016, early 2017. Roman regains the belt from Sheamus, and he was actually really super over at that moment. It was in Philadelphia. They were cheering him. He punched Vince. He won the title back. Crowd popped huge. So it seemed like, you know what? He could have been, if they would have followed through on that momentum, he could have been over. Instead, Triple H stripped him of the title. Sorry, told him that he had defended the title in the Royal Rumble itself. For whatever reason, he started taking a step back. Dean was more at the fore in that whole storyline. So by the time the Royal Rumble came around, it was obviously predictable that Triple H was going to insert himself in that match and win the Royal Rumble to set up Triple H at Roman at Mania that year. And that match was hot garbage. It was terrible.
Not a good match. And it's funny because you mentioned Dean sort of coming to the fore more. And even in the lead up to Mania, they had that end of the
Roadblock
end of the
the
line
network
pay-per-view.
special. And the Triple H Dean match was really good.
Yeah, that match was really, really good because Dean had won a title shot between Rumble and Mania, and that was a foregone conclusion. But surprisingly, they put on a really, really, good match. It was just, I don't remember the specifics of the build towards the Triple H Roman one, but Roman just was sort of not.
He's just relegated to the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he since then he had never, he won the title back, but he had never really been the same after that. It was kind of bizarre.
So imagine if Brock Lesnar wins the 2016 Rumble. He's the new champion. Mm-hmm. And, it's all eventually setting up for Brock versus Roman 2 rematch for the previous year.
Yeah.
Of course, where Seth cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase at the conclusion of WrestleMania, winning the title. It would have served several purposes. One, we wouldn't have gotten Triple H Reigns.
True.
That was a stinker.
True.
And actually, the Lesnar-Reigns match at the previous year's WrestleMania was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Also, we wouldn't have gotten Dean versus Brock Lesnar at that WrestleMania, which was abysmal.
Right.
It was a horrible match.
Yeah.
And then we could have gotten this whole Brock-Roman thing maybe out of the way 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
Just get it over with.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if Brock was sort of the proxy for the authority as opposed to Triple H being the proxy. Here's the problem with Triple
H just wasn't a proxy for the authority. He was the authority.
And he was a crotch-chopping authority. He couldn't help himself. Here's the thing. What's the reaction for Triple H when he crotch chops?
Everybody says, suck it!
But everybody loves it.
Yeah.
Everybody really, because they love to say suck it.
Yeah.
They have fond memories of DX.
Yeah, of course.
And so he couldn't help himself. Like he was, I still kind of feel that Triple H went into that thinking, well, if Roman's going to be the guy, he's got to step up and be the guy.
Yeah.
He has to put in the effort because I'm not going to make it easy on him.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the storyline. I'm talking about
in the ring.
Triple H was doing like a didn't Magic Johnson do that to somebody? Remember Magic Johnson did that to somebody, a rookie who ended up becoming a star, and then Michael Jordan tried to do that with Kwame Brown.
Oh, and it just destroyed
and
Kwame.
it just destroyed his confidence.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what happened. I don't know. In any event, I think Brock Lesnar as proxy for the Authority, like Paul Heyman cuts a deal with the Authority, to get Lesnar even bigger benefits than he already has.
Yeah.
Health insurance, maybe. I don't know.
Free travel.
Free travel.
More land for his farm.
Even more land. They can annex the land of whoever his neighbor is.
Exactly.
Eminent
domain.
Yeah, eminent domain, exactly. And they go into that next Mania, Roman Brock 2. And like you said, maybe we get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been an interesting bit of history. Instead, like you said, we got Dean versus Brock, which I mean, I don't recall
That was a garbage
seeing
match.
Brock Lesnar ever so plainly, obviously
Checked out.
It's not just checked out. There are certain competitors,
Oh,
AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan.
He seemed to almost have contempt for
Yes,
Dean.
it's kind of like
He
Cena
seemed
Baron.
Contemptuous of being in that match. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm in here with you, man. Ouch. Anyways, moving on.
Moving on.
Number 8.
8.
Luke Harper 2 in 2017.
So Randall Orton won the Rumble in 2017. At the time, he was aligned with Bray Wyatt. At the time of the Rumble, Bray wasn't WWF champion yet, WWE champion. Sorry, he'd win that following Elimination Chamber.
Correct.
However, there was an interesting dynamic going on between Randall Orton, Bray Wyatt, and Luke Harper. In fact, after Randy won the Rumble, he went to Bray and said, basically, I give up my title shot. I'm not going to face you. And so for a while, Luke Harper and AJ Styles were fighting over that spot. It would have been interesting to have Harper either win the Rumble in 2017, win with Orton, or even just after the fact, add him into the match. It would have added a really interesting story dynamic where you had Bray, who, at that point said he was able to summon demonic powers, no, satanic powers, sorry, which manifested themselves in just projections being shown on the floor of the ring. You had Randall Orton, who for a while seemed like he was developing some sort of supernatural powers, teleportation, eye lasers, yet he didn't actually implement any of that during the match at Mania. And then instead, Luke Harper just didn't do anything. It would have been an interesting story element where you had Luke Harper, who has this wealth of backstory with Bray, whose alliances are going to be tested in the midst of this match while trying to go for the top prize on SmackDown Live. And it would have yielded, in theory, the possibility of far more interesting results afterwards. Instead of having a boring face Randy Orton as champion, we could have had Orton lead the Orton family. Just something interesting could have come of all this, and it didn't. Massively disappointed. But even had Luke Harper in that match, would have created a more interesting dynamic than what we got.
Not just something more interesting, which it would have. However, we would have potentially gotten the development of a new star with Luke Harper.
Yes.
We all know the guy has been one of the most underutilized characters in the WWE. He's a spectacular wrestler. There's all sorts of stuff that we haven't even seen that he can do.
Yep.
And the development of that character. You have the rare opportunity here to develop essentially a henchman into his own character. You don't get that very often.
No.
And Luke Harper would have been perfect. And here's the thing, the people were really behind Luke Harper in this whole storyline. And we had heard that there were rumblings. I remember at the time there were rumors that they were possibly thinking of pushing Harper and maybe putting him in that match, but it never came to pass. Supreme disappointment. The match at Mania, like you said, was an absolute joke. I did love their House of Horrors match, though. I thought that was
at
great.
least it was more entertaining than the Mania match.
That is true.
But just
that
about
is
anything
true.
is.
Yeah. But no, I think that, Luke Harper, I think it was his time. And, we've seen since then, the whole Bludgeon Brothers thing. It's like they still want to do something. They should be cleared soon. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw
Eric Rowan in the Rumble.
One or both in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They should make them the True Buds, though.
Oh, yeah.
I think we got that one perfect.
Oh, we did. We did.
Moving on. Number 7.
7.
The Miz in 2012.
So this is the year that Sheamus won. Him and Chris Jericho were the final 2.
Yep.
Sheamus went on to defeat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship in, 8 seconds? 18 seconds?
18 seconds.
The quickest win in Mania history, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sheamus proceeded to have a completely forgettable World Heavyweight Championship reign that lasted upwards of 200 days before dropping the belt to Big Show.
You know like the extreme example of this is Roman Reigns from a couple of years ago when the crowd literally booed him.
Yeah.
That was like car wreck good. You know, like you watch that and you're like, oh my God, they got this so bad. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. In this case, I went back and I watched the finish to this. I am a fan of Sheamus as he is now. I think
he's
him
been
and
doing great work the
Cesaro
last couple of years.
are
Absolutely.
a top tag team.
Absolutely.
At the time when they really were intent on pushing him as a top singles guy.
This is around the time where that alleged meeting happened where they all agreed that Sheamus was going to be the new face of the company, right?
Right. The guy didn't get any reaction. He got no reaction whatsoever.
It was down to him and Jericho. Of course, Jericho would go on and have a feud for the WWF title against... I was saying WWF today. WWE title against CM Punk.
Yeah.
So even if you say, all right, Chris Jericho should win the Rumble, you still got to have both the feuds that eventually happen. But the idea of The Miz winning...
Look at The Miz. So he came in. He actually came out first. He was the first entrant, right? So he comes out. He gets on the mic. He delivers a killer promo. Crowd was super anti-Miz at the time, as they had been much of his career. But he was 4 years removed. I think it was 2008 that he had the title. Is that right?
No, it was 2011.
Oh, it was 2011. Was it the year before?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So he was 1 year removed from having the title. So the aura of being title guy was still sort of surrounding him. He delivered a really great promo. He lasted all the way to 25. He wasn't, I don't know if he was the Iron Man, but you can't tell me 1st to 25th. I don't know if anybody else could have been more Iron Man than that.
Here, I'll check.
Check. So he lasted till 25. And instead of continuing the story between The Miz and Daniel Bryan, which
he lasted 45 minutes.
There you go. So
Over 45 minutes.
He was Iron Man. Instead of being able to continue that storyline, he at WrestleMania 2012 was in. So he main evented 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so in the span of 1 year, he had dropped down to being part of a 6-man tag. A 6-on-6 tag match. Team Johnny, meaning John Laurinaitis, and Team Teddy Long, the brand general managers, had a big fight.
Yeah,
had a big 6-on-6 fight, which was completely meaningless.
Yes,
completely meaningless.
Absolutely and completely.
So you could have kept his, kept his champion, and not a lot had to change between. I mean, I don't know what The Miz with the big gold belt seems like that'd be a good fit.
Yeah, I think so.
That might have been a good fit.
Yeah,
and you could have had some good stuff between him and The Miz, and Daniel Bryan. I get it. I know Miz was a heel at the time, so was Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
I get it, but just a little bit of writing could have changed that. So yeah, that's an absolute bummer. Instead, like you said, we got Sheamus. The guy just didn't get any reaction.
Mm-hmm.
He got no reaction.
No reaction whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, well, let's have him let's just do some. Let's just have him win something and see if that gets a reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Worry about the reaction later. It's the opposite.
Yeah,
gets a good reaction.
You build up to an event happening where the reaction is organic, not do something and hope a reaction happens.
Yeah. Moving on, number 6. 2007, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
You think I'm cute?
Do you think you're cute?
You know I'm sexy.
Look at him and Undertaker right there. So both these guys went on to compete for championship gold at the following Mania.
WrestleMania 23.
WrestleMania 23, that's right. It's the highest grossing WrestleMania ever, Larson. I wonder why that is. Anyways, Undertaker actually won this particular match.
This is lone Rumble victory.
So maybe they just wanted to give Undertaker
a Rumble win.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that was the case. the crowd was firmly behind HBK, as they typically are when you have HBK versus The Undertaker.
Yeah.
You sort of relate. That's always been the dynamic when they're fighting each other. You relate to the guy who's semi-normal as opposed to the guy who is a
giant dead man.
a giant dead man from hell or wherever he's
Who's
from.
a supernatural being, apparently. That can
Exactly.
summon lightning at his whims.
Exactly. You put yourself in the shoes of the guy who's got the balls to take on a giant dead person.
Yes.
Right? And so the crowd was firmly behind HBK. Now, HBK went on to fight John Cena for his world title. Taker went on to fight Batista for his world title. But so it didn't matter really which one of them won this match. They figured out how to get to their opponent.
Exactly.
In the end. Then you have to take a look at the finish of this match, just sort of in a vacuum. The crowd firmly behind one guy. Why don't you send him home happy? Just have HBK win against this giant dead person.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you actually look forward a couple years when you have back-to-back Mania matches between Michaels and Taker, that's another source of contention between them potentially.
Exactly.
Where Michaels got a win over Undertaker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could go
relatively
back to
clean because I believe the prior 2 times that I can think of they had a match. Bad Blood, the first Hell in a Cell, Kane cost Undertaker the match. And then there was a casket match where Michaels hurt his back. I don't remember the finish of that match, but I'm guessing it wasn't totally clean.
Yeah.
Probably Kane was involved in that too.
So 2007 was 23, and then their first match was 25?
Yes,
25 and 26,
I believe.
That's right, yeah. Again, like you said, another piece of story that they could have gone to. I went back and I watched the finish to this, and watching, there just didn't really seem to be a reason for Undertaker to win, other than, hey, let's give him a Rumble
Undertaker
win.
would end up beating Batista for the belt. He got the win that really mattered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
HBK didn't win; he lost to Cena. So just
give him the win here.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
They can each have a win.
Exactly, everybody gets a win.
Yeah. So there you go. Moving on. Number 5. 1999, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Hell yeah.
So this could have been Royal Rumble win
number 3
in a row
for the Texas Rattlesnake. Yeah.
Obviously, he won in 1997 to get his title shot against HBK.
No, he won 98 to get his title shot against HBK. 97 was the one that he
that was the
won.
Weird. Yeah.
Where he was eliminated, but the refs didn't see it, and he won, but they went back, and it was a huge wonky finish that lasted like several weeks.
Was there some Sid involvement in that? No, there wasn't.
No, but Sid ended up taking on Undertaker for the title of that Mania 13.
Right, so there was, like in the lead up to Mania, they did some Sid stuff.
Yeah, there was some Sid stuff, that's correct.
Right. Of course, Stone Cold did go on that 1997 Mania to fight Bret Hart in a sort of career-making performance at that point. It took him to the next level. However, and then 1998, like you said, he took on HBK. 1999, he was hot.
Yeah.
January 99, are you kidding me? Stone Cold was as hot as he would ever get.
Yep.
And instead, Vince McMahon won it.
Yeah. They entered 1 and 2.
They entered 1 and 2, and then they were the Iron
They were the
Men.
last 2, in the match.
Yeah.
And Vince won only for HBK to ultimately give the win to Austin the next night.
So the next night, Vince McMahon, this is terrible. This is Attitude Era. It's either ridiculously good or ridiculously bad. It was all ridiculous, which is why it was all entertaining. So Vince McMahon comes out and he says, "Well, I'm not gonna fight." Wait, Rock had the title then, right?
Yep, he had just won the belt for Mankind.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna fight The Rock. He's the corporate champion. I'm not gonna fight him for against. And so HBK, who was the general manager, commissioner, I think he was commissioner at the time.
Sounds right.
The authority figure.
Yes.
He comes out and says, "Vin Man." I don't know. I went to Undertaker.
Yeah, he just went right into Undertaker.
"Vin Man, the WWF rules state that the runner-up of the Royal Rumble, because you're giving up your spot, the runner-up gets it, not whoever you want to have it."
So by 2017, they had changed that rule, obviously, because Orton gave up his spot. So if the same rules had applied, then Roman Reigns would have won that Rumble.
But what do we know, Larson, about the WWF rule book?
It's a sketch pad, somebody's sketch pad.
It's a collection of sketches.
There's really no rules in there.
You can buy
There's
it
no
from
rules.
WWE Shop. There isn't
It's
a
just somebody's
rule in
doodle.
there.
It's just doodles. Bunch of doodles. No real rules. No rules whatsoever, really.
No.
It's not rules.
It's like just John Cone just writing Kyoto, writing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's more like a yearbook. Everybody went and got a page to scribble something.
Keep in touch.
Yes.
KIT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Signed someone you barely know.
Signed mom. Aw. Anyways. So yeah, kind of a cheese. So, I mean,
it was a pointless, unnecessary swerve.
This was one of those things where it just felt like Vince wanted to swerve people. Oh, you think Austin's going to win? No, me. I'm going to win. Yeah. He's going to puke. Yeah, it's just when you watch the finish, underwhelming. Nobody. It's kind of like when Vince didn't win the title or something.
Yeah.
Underwhelming, and Vince won the ECW title. Underwhelming. It's just when you're that level of involved, it's
too much.
It is too much.
Too much.
So yeah, Austin should have got that. He won it again. He won the Rumble again.
Yeah, the following
2001. But they
2 years later. Sorry.
They didn't even come out and say, "Oh, Austin, HBK comes out. The rules say the commissioner gets to decide. We'll have a fatal 4-way. We'll have a match for it. We'll do something."
Yeah, there's no
it.
competition for it. It was just handed to him.
It was just on Raw. HBK, think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. Michelle.
Oh my gosh.
I put you down
Wow.
like a dog.
Wow.
She was like 7 years old at the time.
Wow.
Anyways.
Let's just move on.
All right, we'll move on. Oh, you want to talk about this next one, don't
Yeah.
you? Number 4.
4.
1994, Bret Hart and Owen Hart, not Lex Luger.
So Lex Luger's time had already more or less passed before that Rumble. He had body slammed Yokozuna on the deck of some
USS Intrepid
aircraft carrier. He had beat Yokozuna via countout at the following SummerSlam, was hoisted above the shoulders of a small portion of the face locker room in jubilant celebration at his impressive feat of defeating the once unbeatable Yokozuna. But he didn't actually win anything. He didn't win a title. He didn't win anything. He won by countout.
He won the love and adoration of the people and the respect of the locker room.
Not so, because if he had, then maybe he would have won this Rumble.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't over. He would, about a year later, show up at the Mall of America in a puffy shirt and stumble upon another wrestling show and said, "Hey, I'll take part in this."
Yeah, very quickly after. What month was that in 95?
The summer, I think.
Okay, yeah. Because after this, so obviously you guys know the story. Bret and Luger were co-winners of this particular Rumble, 1994. Then they devised this really weird scheme at WrestleMania 10 where Yokozuna, the champion, would take on, would have 2 matches. The first match would be against Lex Luger.
So much for a championship advantage.
And then the second match would be against Bret Hart. So they made that dude take on 2 different, and then he lost at WrestleMania 10.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Hart.
They really should have done it is Bret and Luger have the match.
Yeah.
Winner of that match face the champion. The champion shouldn't have 2 matches. That's unfair to the champion.
That's terrible.
That's horribly unfair to the champion.
No advantage there.
Anyways, we knew Lex had no chance to win that title because they wanted to win the belt. They would put him on back to SummerSlam 93. So why even have him involved in this whole thing? Have Bret and Owen be the last 2 in that particular Royal Rumble. They had a match at WrestleMania 10. It was pretty good. Owen went over.
So I guess, I don't know what the setup was because I didn't really watch the build because I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. However, at some point, it was decided that Luger and Yoko would go on. So let me ask you this. Do you know this? If Luger had won the title from Yokozuna, would Luger then have had to have defended it against Bret Hart later on in the night?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Because Bret early in the night had his own first match, which was against his brother, Owen Hart.
Yes.
Now, no title shot or title was on the line.
No.
And in a spectacular match, Owen Hart beat his brother.
Yes.
Who then had a title match and won the title.
Yes.
However, if you go back to the Royal Rumble, if you really want that feud to be something special, Bret versus Owen, you have both the brothers going over the top rope. Look, like you said, we knew at SummerSlam Luger was never going to work out. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So you have Owen and Bret go over the top rope, and then they have their classic to determine who faces Yokozuna later on the night.
Yeah, real stakes.
You keep your champion's advantage for Yokozuna. It's just, except in this situation, Bret's got to go over Owen. You're not going to have that Owen win. So there you go. That's how it works. And then, so it should have been Bret and Owen Hart. That would have been that's the thing right there.
And then you
That's
have that
the heat.
feud for the title continue throughout 1994.
Maybe Owen picks it up.
They have a classic cage match at SummerSlam '94.
Yeah.
That would have been great stuff.
Yeah. Was that that was a title shot for Owen, wasn't
Mm-hmm.
it? Yeah. Man. Well, wow. Could have been good, man.
Yeah.
Could have been great.
Could have
but
been
no.
really great. No.
And then whatever happened to Lex Luger?
Puffy shirt.
He started working at the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to get lunch at Sbarro's. And after he on his lunch break at Miller's Outpost.
Miller's Outpost.
And stumbled upon a wrestling show and said, I used to do this. I could do this again. Hey, Sting, he used to be my friend.
It is funny, though, after WrestleMania, in between WrestleMania 10 and that next summer when he ended up in Nitro, he really faded into the background.
Yeah.
He didn't really do a whole lot after that.
No.
Because that was the summer of 95. So what did he do at Mania?
I think he had a match against Tatanka.
Oh, did
he was in a program
against...
with Tatanka for a while.
All right. Was that a hot program?
What do you
think? Probably no. I don't see Lex Luger anywhere on this card. Right? Oh, here we go. Yeah, the Allied Powers. They opened the show. Lex Luger and the British Bulldog defeated the Blue Brothers.
At some pay-per-view, he had a match against Tatanka, I thought. Maybe it's SummerSlam 94.
Oh, that could be.
So I remember watching.
Yeah. Let's find out right now.
Yes.
Tatanka
defeated Lex Luger.
And how long was that?
About 6.5 minutes. 6 minutes. A little bit over 6
minutes. Oh, no. Oh, man. You really faded away, man.
Yep.
And then he was like, I'm going to go get some Sbarro's and hit up Miller's Outpost.
No, he was working at Miller's Outpost.
Oh, that's right. He was working there. And then he got a guarantee. Didn't Eric Bischoff claim to have severely lowballed him?
Yeah. So he didn't like him
it's a
personally.
Metaphorical low blow.
Personally or professionally.
That's messed up, man. Who do you like less? Eric Bischoff or Lex Luger?
Who do I?
Yeah, personally and professionally.
Well, you saw what Eric Bischoff did in NWO.
Is that a reason not to like him or to like him?
He had him riding on garbage trucks going to their own pay-per-view.
So creatively speaking, he is not Wolfpack. All right, anyways, moving on. Number 3. Oh, yeah, Randy Savage. Oh, yeah, he should be winning Rumbles left and right. So this is 1993. Larson Randy Savage still had so much in the tank. Of course, Vince McMahon was pushing him to the moon as a cornerstone piece, having him put over amazing talent.
He was pushing him out the door to the commentary table.
Oh, my God. This is bizarre.
Because this is around the same time that Randy really went to do the 2-year program with Shawn Michaels.
Yes, correct. This was the dawn of the new generation.
Yeah, and Randy wisely said, hey, I understand my time is coming to an end here in WWF. I really like this guy, Shawn Michaels. Let's get him in a really good story. I will put him over at the very end, and you have a superstar here. I will give him the rub. And Vince says, nah, don't worry about it. Here, just sit behind this desk and talk. You know, Randy had plenty of gas left in the tank. It's confusing why. I mean, I understand to a certain extent. Like, if you want to focus on a new generation of talent, I get it. 2 things have to happen. There has to be your vision, you have to see it through. And 2, you got to use the previous generation of talent, put the new generation over. Instead, he just kind of, Vince seemingly just said, all right, hard stop here with people that were huge for me in the 80s. Bye. And then we're just going to move on with this new crop of talent without really using the previous crop of talent to put them over. But at the same time, he wasn't, like with Hogan, that wasn't the case. Hogan was like, okay, I want the belt. Vince, sure, you got it. Go out there and beat Yokozuna after Yokozuna cheated to beat Brett. It's just a weird juxtaposition. Like, if you're going to focus really on new talent, use the old talent to put them over and then focus on the new talent. So don't kind of half-ass it,
There's a couple things. Really bizarre. The Royal Rumble goes down. You can watch the finish of this over on the network, or the entire thing if you want. And Randy Savage was it was him and Yokozuna. Guess who the crowd was firmly behind?
Macho Man.
Exactly. They were hot for him. He was still really, really very good.
Yeah.
And so he gets eliminated by Yokozuna. Crowd gets deflated. They hate Yokozuna. He's a heel. They're supposed to. And then Yokozuna goes on at WrestleMania to take on Bret Hart, and then Hogan comes in and does what you just talked about, right? He politics his way into a belt again. And then his people still aren't really into Hogan. 2 or 3 months after WrestleMania, he drops the title
to Yokozuna.
Of course, doesn't put him over clean. God forbid you do that.
I know.
However, I am kind of curious to know if this scenario was ever proffered. So Randy Savage liked HBK, wanted to do a long program with him. Why wouldn't have Vince ever thought to have, or maybe he did, I don't know, it might be out there, to have Randy Savage win that 1993 Rumble? He was hot, right? And then he goes on. Maybe he turns heel in the meantime.
Yeah.
He goes on to face Brett at WrestleMania. Randy Savage was basically 1B to Hogan's 1A.
Yeah, that's true.
During the hottest time in wrestling.
Yes.
So why not use Macho Man, who we know would probably put over Brett?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I looked up. I had to do a little bit of digging. I took a look at one Bret Hart shoot interview about Randy Savage, and he said people like Randy, and I would think Randy liked Bret Hart.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there was any reason why Randy
Can't
wouldn't have done
recall
that.
ever hearing a story where Randy Savage would politicked his way into a win when he was booked otherwise. He was more than happy to put over DDP and WCW.
5 years later.
Seemed like he was more than happy to put over Shawn Michaels if they were to have their feud.
Right.
Randy, by nearly all I can assume, was a professional.
Yeah.
You know.
He wanted what was best for the company.
Yes.
That's what it really felt like.
Yes.
So after the Royal Rumble, Monday Night Raw started, or around that January, same time, Monday Night Raw started. They put him at commentary.
Yeah, he was on commentary at WrestleMania 9. Mm-hmm. And if you're not going to go with Randy, and you want to focus on the new generation, I understand that Yokozuna was a member of the new generation. Not the most exciting choice, though. Go with someone like The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Who was, 3 years with the company? Mm-hmm. He had already been a WWF champion by that point.
Yeah.
Have him take on Brett.
Yeah.
In the main event of Mania. That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Instead, Undertaker took on Giant Gonzalez that year.
Ooh. Yeah, a lot of this, if you lay out the path to WrestleMania 9, which is known by many people as
it's a real shit show, man.
A bottom three WrestleMania.
Horrible. It's horrible.
It's like 9, 2, and I don't know.
Have you ever watched all of 9?
All of 9?
It's awful.
I don't know. I think I have.
It's awful.
That's where Luger debuted as the narcissist.
Yeah, he had the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
It's terrible.
A lot of butts on that one. But yeah, it is bizarre to me. I mean, Randy Savage versus Bret Hart, a passing of the torch thing. That could have been a classic.
Yep.
And instead, we had this weird Hogan Yokozuna thing.
Yeah, it was awful. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Terrible. Terrible, dang it. Moving on. Number 2. 2015. Anyone, literally anyone that isn't named Roman Reigns.
Well, I'll give you 3 names. Most obvious one would be Daniel Bryan. He just came back from neck injury. Mm-hmm. That following WrestleMania, he would take part in a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Mm-hmm. He would win said match. He was still hot. If he had won that Rumble, faced Brock Lesnar at Mania that year, that would have been a huge match.
Huge.
2 other options. Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he didn't beat John Cena the previous year at WrestleMania, but it's when he was still fairly new, fresh, interesting. They could have pivoted into something really interesting between him and Brock for that title. That would have been cool. Instead, he took on The Undertaker in a really lackluster match at Mania. Mm-hmm. Third option, Rusev.
Machka.
He and Roman Reigns were the final 2. If you want to build a star right there, that instant, knowing, if they knew at that point, that Reigns was a heat magnet, having Rusev eliminate Roman Reigns and take on Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, they probably would have had, you could have Rusev win and then work something out so that wasn't the Mania match if that's what they really wanted. But just have Rusev win, build a huge star right in that moment, because that roof would have exploded if Rusev would have eliminated Roman Reigns, because no one wanted to see Roman Reigns win that Rumble. Nobody.
And you know how we know that is that the crowd booed him and The Rock out of the building after that finish. Roman Reigns wins. The people are clued in that, Vince really likes you, so we're going to stop really liking you at all. Rock comes in, lifts his hand up, and just looks really confused because he's hearing this sound, Larson. This weird sound. People are putting their mouths together.
Making a buh,
and then a ooh.
It's like a sound he hadn't heard in like almost 20 years.
He's like, are they saying Brahma Bool? Is that what they're saying? Is that what they're saying? Brahma Bool? No, I think they're saying
that's boo.
I was like, well, I remember this when I was a bad guy.
Yeah.
But people love me now. I'm a big Hollywood guy.
Yeah, everybody loves The Rock. Why are they booing me?
Roman's got a bloody nose and a big smile on his face. That's terrible. Terrible. One of the biggest creative blunders in the history of WWE has been the treatment of Roman Reigns.
Yes.
It really has been.
Yep. Yeah, any of the three names I mentioned, if they had won the Rumble,
right?
Roof would have blew off.
The Rock was there.
Yeah.
Have The Rock win.
Yeah, even The Rock. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Seemed like they want to do Rock Brock.
Yeah.
Let's get it out of the way.
Just get it out of the way. There's so many times they could have just gotten stuff out of the way. Mm-hmm. It would have been better off.
We've progressed so much further now in the world of WWE.
Exactly. We would have already been at, I don't know, Velveteen Dream versus...
yeah, Aleister Black would be Universal Champion at this point.
They'd been fast-tracking everybody.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Finn Balor, 3-time world champion.
You're only allowed a 5-year run in WWE, then you're out.
Then you're out the door.
Then you're out.
New generation time. new generation.
It's always new generation.
New generation.
All right, let's hit. Who's the number one? Who's the number one? Here we go. Number one. Daniel Bryan, 2014. Do you remember this, Larson?
Oh, vividly, yeah.
There were two guys that we love now, but as fans of the product in 2014, we wanted no part of. Batista, Rey Mysterio, making big returns. Daniel Bryan was nowhere to be found, and the people were so pissed off.
Well, here's the thing, too, is earlier in the night, he lost to Bray Wyatt. And we've seen it before, where someone earlier in the card loses a match only to return later on to achieve something monumental. Mm-hmm. So it felt like Daniel Bryan at the time was involved in this feud with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt picks up the win the singles match. It seems like, all right, Daniel Bryan's done with that. He can move on to larger things like winning the Rumble and taking on Randy Orton in the main event of WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So the Rumble's going on. You know, everybody's anticipating Daniel Bryan to come out. And then he doesn't.
Yeah.
Final person to come out is Rey Mysterio. Under normal circumstances, surprise entrant, Rey Mysterio got a massive pop. Mm-hmm. Instead, boos. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Batista, another huge return.
Yeah.
Any other circumstances, probably would have been cheered.
Yeah.
No, booed.
Boo.
The one person that could have won that match, not named Daniel Bryan, that the crowd would have cheered, I think oddly enough, Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
The crowd was super behind him in that match. He had the most eliminations in the match.
Yeah.
And if he had eliminated Batista last, I think the crowd really would have embraced him.
I think you're probably right about that. Yeah.
It's like they're a year late on like everything they do. I know the Shield had I didn't even think they were broken up at that point. I don't remember.
When did Seth have
No,
his
it was
big
after
run?
this. It was after this.
It was
They
after
broke
this.
up.
Okay,
yeah.
It was like June of 2014, wasn't it? Yeah, okay.
So if Roman Reigns would have won, it would have been massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
Because the Shield were at their peak of popularity.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been something else.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it all eventually worked out. Even like the previous one, 2015, it all eventually worked out because Seth Rollins cashed in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. He won. That was a great moment. We all celebrated. And Daniel Bryan eventually got into the main event of WrestleMania and won the belt. And that was a great moment. We all celebrated. So eventually all worked out.
The build was a big eye-opener, for the WWE apparently.
Reality area, all that kind of stuff.
All that kind of stuff, exactly. A runner-up for 2014 maybe as well, CM Punk.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he wouldn't have walked out then. But he was also concussed, so I don't know if you want a concussed wrestler winning your Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. If only they had booked him at number 30. Maybe they would have called an audible. Man, people are not into this. Let's have
But he came out super early in that match.
Yeah, he did.
So unless they had a sense right away that it was going to go south, no chance. No chance. The only audible they could have called at that point is like, sorry, Ray.
Yeah.
Go back to the locker room. Daniel, come on.
Daniel.
Come on.
Sorry, Ray. Sorry you made this trip.
Sorry we were paying you probably 6 figures to be here, but
exactly. Come on, Daniel. They want you.
Come on.
Oh, by the way, everybody, this is now a 31-man Royal Rumble.
I know.
Hey, sneak that one by everybody. Like, they're going at it. They're like, okay, run the clock again. Everybody's like, what the hell?
Just put number 30 up again. No one will pay attention.
Number 30 again? Do-over. Daniel Bryan wins. Oh, man. Anyways.
Oh, that's great.
But, yeah, poor Batista.
I know.
That dude, he's one of the smartest dudes back there probably. He was trying to tell them, according to him, it's like, man, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
This is not going to work. I'm not going to be a good guy.
Yeah.
They love Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. He knew.
He knew.
He knew.
He was a smart guy.
He was.
Anyways, hey, the Royal Rumble is tomorrow, everybody.
Yes, join us for our reaction live stream, please.
Absolutely. It should be a lot of fun. And, of course, tonight, TakeOver, join us for that reaction live stream as well. Also, there is a T-shirt sale going on right now at Pro Wrestling T/Going In Raw. Use the promo code RUMBLE. All of our shirts are on sale, 15% off. And if you go over to friendomarket.com, we've got a bunch of great stuff there still to sell. And you can use the promo code there, RUMBLE, as well. So check all that stuff out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.